Hi guys, it's Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's video is going to be my February wrap up for my A to Z reading challenge. This is a reading challenge that I'm doing with a bunch of girls here on YouTube. Everybody will be linked down below, but we kind of took the concept of the A to Z Project Pan and applied it to reading. So we're going to try to read books that fit every letter of the alphabet. I added a category which was a number for a title that has a number in it. And also I am going to attempt to do all the categories for the Pop Sugar reading challenge. So I will also give you guys an update on which prompts I have finished. I'm still sick. I don't feel sick anymore. I'm just very nasally sounding. I know the last video I filmed, I said I thought it was allergies, but no, I ended up having a really bad cold. They tested me for strep, it was negative. They tested me for the flu, it was negative. So there was nothing that I could take other than medicine wise, so I just needed to rest. And but anyway, I feel a lot better. I'm just a little nasally sounding, so in case anybody cared. I'm going to start with the letters that I finished. For last update, I was able to finish 6 letters, but this month I only finished 3. I only completed 3. So the first letter that I finished was Glass Houses by Louise Penny. This is, I thought it was like a standalone book, but I guess it's kind of one of those mystery series. It's the 13th book in the series. People say you don't have to read them in order, but there were some storylines that I guess have developed over the past 3 years that I felt a little bit lost. The book starts with a trial of that crime that happened a while back, and then you kind of go back and forth between the trial and then the events that happen. So you're trying to piece it together as the trial moves along. I think I gave this book 3.5, maybe 4 stars. A lot of people have praised this book a lot, but because I haven't read any of these stories before, I was kind of lost in regards to some of the storylines with certain characters. It was still very entertaining. I didn't find it dull, but some of the important things, because I read reviews afterwards, some of the important things that happen in the book, I guess, have been hinting from previous books. And there's a little cliffhanger that I guess with one of the characters at the end of this book that I guess is preparing you for the next book. I don't know, because I have so many books that I need to read. I don't know if I'm ever going to read the other 12 books that come before this one, but this one is a good one. I don't think I will be continuing with the series though. If you like a good murder mystery novel, this is a good one. Next letter that I finished was the letter K, and that goes to The King's Curse by Philippa Gregory. Philippa Gregory writes historical fiction novels. She's one of my favorite authors. Her stories are just so fun, and I'm fascinated by British royalty, especially around the Tudor era. But this book is about the King's Curse. The King's Curse was that he wasn't able to have any children. And this is a curse that was placed on him by Elizabeth Woodville. If I'm not mistaken, that's her name. Elizabeth Woodville was the mother of Princess, what's her name? Elizabeth, I think her name was Elizabeth of York, her daughter. And she married King Richard for love. They actually married for love. They ended up having 12 kids, but the House of York was not the rightful heir to the throne. Just to give you guys a quick backstory, the House of Lancaster was the rightful heir, and then the war happened and the king died. The House of Lancaster took over, and they kind of took in prisoners the family that had the throne before. And she had a bunch of sons, so her sons started dying and disappearing. She was the mother of the Lost Princess in the Tower. I don't know if you guys have heard that story. So pretty much the House of Lancaster destroys, gets rid of any male heirs that can have a claim to the throne, and they take over. So because the House of York, they're supposed to be descendants of the water goddess Melusina, kind of like a mythological creature type thing, and they believed a lot in that. So when they lost the throne to the House of Lancaster, they put a curse on that house that they wouldn't be able to. I don't know exactly what the curse was. It's I don't know how many books before this book, but basically they cursed the king so that his reign the line would end and he wouldn't be able to have any male heirs. So here comes Henry VIII. He marries Elizabeth of Aragon, and he is not able to have any kids. He has, well, he has a daughter, but all the male boys that are born, they die. So this story, so to make this like really long story short, this follows the 6 marriages of Henry VIII and the struggle to produce a male heir. And then and Margaret here, she's wondering if it's because it just happened or if it's because of the actual curse that the family put on him many years ago. I hope it made sense. I loved it because I love anything that has to do with that Tudor era. I just find it very fascinating. And when I was reading this, if you guys have seen the Tudors on Netflix, like that's what I was picturing in my head as I was reading this. So I read this super fast. It's kind of a big book, but I read it super fast because I was imagining like how it happens in the Tudors. Things happen because I was imagining things happening as they happen in the Tudors. So I think if you've enjoyed watching the Tudors on Netflix, I think it was like a show on Showtime or something, or maybe Stars, and then it went into Netflix. But anyway, if you enjoyed that, I think you would enjoy this book. I loved it. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Philippa Gregory, again, she gets a lot of hate for how she portrays these historical events, but these are not nonfiction books. This is a fiction, this is a novel, so it's expected for her to change details to make things a little bit more interesting, but the main plot points are there. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, if you like historical fiction, check this one out. I think it's the last one in the Tudors series. And the last letter that I finished wasn't actually a letter. It was the one for the number. And this is the 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared. Super long title by Jonas Jonasson. I had such high hopes for this book. Unfortunately, I was let down quite a bit. I found it really like slow moving and slow paced and not very exciting. This book follows this little man who's about to turn 100 years old, and he escapes from his nursing home because he's just like tired of living. And he happens to, when he gets to the bus station, he makes it to the bus station, and he happens to run into somebody, and they ask him to watch a bag, and he decides to steal the bag he's watching for this person. So then this person goes on and chases him, and we go on a hunt to find this man, but then you get flashbacks on events that happened on his life. I don't know, there wasn't like anything really exciting happening other than like the little parts where he was being sought after by these people whom he stole the suitcase from. And his flashbacks from the things that happened in his life were not that exciting. So I ended up just giving it 3 stars out of 5. I was really let down, again, because it's had a lot of hype around it. A lot of people really enjoyed it, but unfortunately I didn't. Now for the prompts of the Pop Sugar reading challenge, I'm going to tell you guys which prompts I finished. So, a book with a plant in the title or the cover. And for that, I picked The Best Night of Your Pathetic Life. This is a YA book, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but here on the T, there's a little plant, and then you can see it better here in the back. So that's the plant, so that counts. And I already have completed the letter B, so this doesn't count for the letters. But this book is about these group of seniors that they're doing like a senior scavenger hunt. It's about a week before they're graduating, so they're given like different challenges that they have to complete within the set amount of time. And you just follow these guys around town trying to complete the challenges. It was really fun. This little book took me about 5 days to read because this is the last book I read this month, and I've been super sick, so I wasn't really into it. I gave it 4 stars because it was fun and it's really fast paced. There's no like boring moments because you're just going like running from one challenge to another. And so it's really fun, but I was super sick. They took me like 5 days to read this tiny little book. I liked it if you're trying to read something that's really fast and really fun. It's a little cheesy, but it's fun. I liked it. So that's this one. The next prompt is a book with a question on the title, and I read What's Your Number by Karen Bosnick. And as you can see, this is the movie tie-in version. This was a movie made with Anna Faris and Chris Evans, or Captain America, if you don't know who Chris Evans is. But this book follows this girl who reads an article that reads that by a certain age, a woman has had an X amount of relationships. And she finds out that she's already twice the amount of relationships that article mentions. And she's already about to turn the age that the article states. So she's like panicked about going over that many number of relationships, and she's not even married, not even close. So she goes and tries to hunt down her previous boyfriends and tries to see if she can make one of those relationships work again. So it's really fun. It's a really fun book. I ended up watching the movie after I read this book, and I was so disappointed because I loved this book so much. I read this book in 2 days. It's pretty big. And I actually read it on vacation. I read half of it on the way to on the plane and the other half coming home on the plane. So I read it super fast. But the movie was really disappointing because it doesn't, it follows the idea of the plot, which is hunting down the previous boyfriends to try to make a relationship work. But other than that, everything is different. Like all the obstacles are different, the boyfriends are different, not even the characters are the same name as in the book. So I was really disappointed. I wouldn't recommend the movie, so just read the book if it sounds interesting to you. Chick lit, if that's your thing, this is a good book. For the prompt of a book with a 2-word title, I read Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Katniss. This is the second book to the You series. I had read You 2 years ago, according to Goodreads, but I didn't watch the Netflix thing until in December. So when I was watching it, I remembered how much I enjoyed that book. So, and I had this book in my huge pile of books that I haven't read. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up. I was really disappointed. This is nowhere near as good as You, unfortunately. This book doesn't have the creepiness that You had. And it's just, I don't know. I was disappointed. The storyline wasn't interesting, kind of like unrealistic. It was kind of a letdown, to be honest. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But what are you gonna do? That's this one. I don't know if I'll pick up, if she comes out with a 3rd one, I don't know if I'll pick it up. I'll probably like look at the reviews first and then decide later on. Then for the prompt of a book that takes place in a day, I went with The Best Night of Your Life because this takes place within 24 hours. Then I also completed the prompt for a book that includes a wedding, and for that I went with What's Your Number. The sister of our main character here is planning her wedding throughout the book, and then at the end of the book we do get to see her wedding, so that's this one. Then the prompt for a book by an author with the same first and last name letter, The 100-Year-Old Man, blah, 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 was written by Jonas Jonasson, so even the first and last name even sound the same, so JJ, there you go. Then the prompt for a novel based on a true story, I went with The King's Curse because even though this is fiction, it is the idea is based off of events that happened in real life. So that's this one. Then a book revolving around a puzzle or a game. Again, I picked The Best Night of Your Pathetic Life because this is a game. You know, they're going on a scavenger hunt throughout the city, and also that's the name of the game. It's called The Best Night of Your Pathetic Life. The last prompt that I finished was a book with no chapters, unusual chapter headings, or unconventionally numbered chapters. For that, I went again with The King's Curse. She doesn't do chapters like chapter 1, chapter 2. The way she does it is she gives you a place in a year. So every time like something new happens, like this one, so here's another place in a year, and then story happens, and then place in a year, story happens. So that's how the whole book is. So there's no really chapters in this book, and that's how all of her books are. So there you go, guys. Those are the books that I read in February. Right now I have read a total of 15 books. I still have 85 books to read in 2019. So I have 10 months to read 85 books. I should be reading about 8 books a month. Unfortunately, because I got sick in February, I didn't get to finish the book that I'm currently reading right now. So that'll roll over to March. And the next of the months, I'm gonna have to read about 8 or 8.5. So hopefully I can speed it up a little bit. But Anyway, guys, that is it. That's my update for my reading A to Z for February. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.